Hi guys, so in place of the chat this week, we have a 3-part conversation in this Hair Walk TV special. So I actually got a surprise visit from my girl Catherine Ama Sarpong of CAS Events and Production, and we had a very real and interesting conversation about singleness, our struggles. I know you're over the the topic of singleness. I mean, sometimes I'm over it, but we had a really a heart-to-heart conversation about it, and so that's what we're going to be sharing with you in the 3-part conversation, 3-part episodes. So please make sure you check it out and enjoy this conversation. Let us know your thoughts, let us know your comments in the comment section below, and like, comment and subscribe. So yes, enjoy this episode. Hi guys, hi AJ, and today you'll notice that I have with me a very special guest. This was an unannounced guest who decided to visit us in the studio today, and I just thought she is a woman of wisdom, and I thought we cannot miss this opportunity to have her on the chat. Her name is Catherine. You guys have heard me speak about her before, and yeah, she's a bit surprised. But yeah, we're gonna just answer. She's gonna help me answer your questions today. I'm really excited because she is a woman of wisdom. Hey, Catherine.
Hey. Is that what they call it? Woman of wisdom? Is that
yes.
So Catherine, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started? Or?
My name is Catherine Ama Sarpong. I don't like being called Catherine Sarpong anymore. It's one thing I've noticed. I like being called Catherine Ama Sarpong.
CAS.
Okay. I am nearly 25 years old.
Are you really gonna review your age on YouTube?
Yeah.
I mean, she vibing it like that. You can go and do
It is what it is. I like creative stuff. I like some business stuff, and I like money. Cool. Put it like that. And all in God's. Like, I think that's needless to say these days, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And one thing she's failing to tell you guys is that she is actually the CEO of CAS Events, CAS Events.
CAS.
Yes.
Productions.
And yeah, CAS Productions, and she's done amazing stuff. She's currently on her break, but she's coming back. So
yes,
you guys will be seeing more stuff from CAS Events,
Amen.
CAS Productions.
And on her walk as well.
And on her walk as well. So look out for that, guys. And when you spot her, just put it in the comments, spotted Catherine. Hashtag spotted Catherine.
She's back. Okay, so the first question for today is, how do you guys study the word every day? And if you have days when you're not motivated to study the word, what do you do?
We actually had this conversation after church. Like what, 2-3 weeks ago?
It was 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we said that it's not every day that we study it, but we will read it every day. Because when it comes to studying it, we know how long it takes.
Yeah.
And you will
just
miss
that one verse.
And, do you know what I mean? Like going deep into it,
yeah,
like the context and all of that stuff. It's a lot. So I feel like I will do it like once a week or so, and then the notes and stuff that I've done, I go over that every day.
Meditating.
And I use those as prayer points, and then I'll read other things like as and when. But as for studying, the in-depth studying, like the hour 45 minutes, once a week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have days off. Most of my days off are on Tuesdays, and that usually means that I don't really have that much to do other than filming for the chat. And those are my study days. Those are the days when I get out the concordance, when I get out other things, and I'm going in depth. You know, that can take 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and sometimes it's just one verse. But yeah, it's a lot. But on my days when I'm going to work, I literally would just read whatever the Lord lays on my heart. Sometimes, yeah, just read on it, meditate. Sometimes just listen to it on my way to work, listen to the scripture over and over and over again. I was saying to Catherine how I was listening to just Titus 2 over and over and over again for like a week, where it was just finishes and then just replay it. But that's what I usually do on the days that I'm not. The days that I'm working, when we don't feel motivated, how do you handle that?
I think you reminded me when you were talking about like listening to recordings. I'm not really someone that likes to listen to preachings too much, unless it's facts straight to the point. I don't like too much commentary from I just don't. I've really come off of that. But I think what I'll do is like record my like the little bits that I have and
oh my
listen
god,
to it.
I do that too.
Because I was thinking about like when I'm driving and stuff, I feel like if you're driving, it's really good to be alone and drive and pray and stuff. And I realized that even when I was coming here today, that I say a lot of like self-proclamations a lot, but I even do it in like 3 different tones, like I am going to be disciplined, I am going to be disciplined, I am going to be disciplined. I'll repeat it so many times. And I feel like, you know what, when people record things and then they listen to it at night, let it go into their head, I'm going to do that. And I think I'll do that with the things I'm trying to study as well. And I think that will motivate me a lot, just to hear the facts repeated in the audio and no extra commentary. I think that's what will motivate me.
I mean, I'm very honest on the days that I don't feel like studying the word. Usually it means that something's happened, like I feel like God has left me, or I'm just being a bit emotional about the things of God. Usually has a deeper meaning, and I'm very honest, going to the feet of God and saying, God, I don't feel like reading the word. And then God somehow finds a way for me to end up telling him the real reason why I don't feel like studying the word. And I'm doing all of that in his presence, so that sometimes leads to me crying, sometimes just being like, it's boring, like I just don't get it, or I'm falling asleep and all of that stuff. And out of that stuff has birthed things like conversations where the Lord somehow, after I've thrown my tantrum, he helps me to, I don't know, a way of studying the word comes. Like recently, one thing that he showed me was the Bible app. You know, there's the videos, if you go to the video part of the Bible app, you know, they have like the full Jesus movies and like Proverbs and all of that stuff, and everyone has their ideas about it, because I saw that facial expression.
I mean, I like acting, I like drama, so if it's not good,
so she looks at it with the eyes of like the actress, but for me, I'm a visual learner, so it almost brings things into perspective for me. So those are all different ways that in times when I don't feel like reading the word, I will listen to a preaching by, I'm like you, I don't just listen to just any preaching, usually it's by specific people, and I get hyped up, or I watch the videos, or I watch me speaking, or listen to me speaking. I record myself a lot, and all of that stuff just gets you into that atmosphere, and then you find yourself doing something, being in his presence.
And I also, because I don't like anything about God, I don't really like conditions. I don't want it to be a thing. I'm human, yes, but we all hide behind that human thing. I don't really want to do things because I don't feel it, or because I do feel it. So I pray, God, I genuinely want to desire you. So if that means you have to give me a desire to desire you, then
that's right.
Amen. And I like stories as well. I like stories, and the Bible's just full of the most stories and the most tea. The most tea.
The drama.
There was a day when I was calling Taylor, main editor,
producer.
Cool. And I was asking her questions like, did God really let that bang? Like, how did he let Judah be, was it David that came through Judah's line? Judah
David,
was the
Jesus,
most waste ever to me. And it's just interesting because obviously it's a different context then, different context now. It's just loads of stories, loads of people, and I find that stuff interesting. And I feel like if I can spend time reading and seeing it in my mind's eye, and actually ask God, like, God, what were you thinking about that? And that's my prayer point. Like, God, I want to inquire of you. I want to know about you. That motivates me.
You're basically talking about conversations right now, which is a segment we have on the show where we have conversations with the characters. So like what you were saying about, like, God, like, did you really let that bang? That's the kind of stuff that I was saying to the girls that I did. I do to help me. And this week, actually, today, I learned a little bit about Ahab and Elijah. So obviously we all know about the story of Elijah, but in 1 Kings 18, 17 talks about how Elijah said there was going to be no rain, and there was no rain. And then God said, go and hide in that cave, whatever, I'll get the dove to feed you and all of that jazz. And then in 18, God said to him, go back to Judah. So he went back to Judah, and he met up with Ahab. Ahab was the king at the time. That's the husband of Jezebel. And Ahab was like, oh, here comes the troublemaker, you know, and it was just
Elijah
2
was
verses.
a bit-
And Elijah was like, no, mate, I ain't no troublemaker. You're the one who disobeyed the Lord. And I can just see that, like, Real Housewives of Atlanta, you know, like...
Listen, some of those dummies were fiery.
Listen, he was
Super
fiery.
So the next question is, because both of you ladies are single, right? I mean, what? I mean, Catherine, what? So the question is, what advice do you have for a young lady who's struggling to stay committed to God in her singleness?
What's she doing at the moment?
So wait, what's the question again?
The question is, what advice do you have for a young lady who's struggling to stay committed to God in her singleness?
So she's young,
And
she's
single.
obviously single, and she's struggling to stay committed to the Lord.
And what is she doing at the...
Okay, so she's single and she's struggling to stay committed to the things of God. So I suppose the idea is that she's...
But why? Is it because she has no time, or because she just can't spend time with God? I don't know. I don't get it.
Like she's well, I don't know, but she's struggling to stay committed to God. So like I suppose her mind is on not God things.
Is it to do with her
Singleness,
being single?
yeah.
Yeah, so the singleness is the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, the singleness is a problem. And
So she's like she's
therefore
having a
she
hard
can't-
time staying committed to God because of her singleness. Like
So
her
she's
sin-
basically
not
spending
enjoying
time looking at other...
essentially probably like she's
Okay.
wanting to, like she's single, she knows she's supposed to be single, but she's like I'd much rather be in a relationship as
okay.
opposed to being single. So the singleness is the problem.
Okay. I think accountability is good. If you have someone that you can trust, to speak to someone that you can trust can help before things escalate, depending on what you're doing. If it is just harmlessly like looking at people, you're just like interested in like boys or girls, whatever it is, like I think it's important to have someone to talk to before it escalates. And if you're young, if you're a teenager, like you're always gonna have like hormones, all those feelings. To be honest, that stuff is not restricted to teenagers. Like you can feel,
No.
you can feel it
No.
anytime, any given month, whatever age you are.
Moving on.
Yeah. But yeah, I think accountability is one thing.
I don't know how to answer this question, because if she's struggling to stay committed to God because she's single, then my best advice is that you have to come into terms with the fact that being single is probably the best thing for you right now. And like Catherine said, you need to have people around that you can talk to about these things, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a stage where we were struggling with our singleness, right?
Yeah. Not now, but I'm just trying to pinpoint like when. So I don't feel like
I
the
feel
struggle
like
doesn't ever really go away.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's more
You mature in the way you deal with it.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, so how have you ladies matured then, I guess is the point.
I mean, initially, I acknowledged that I was struggling, definitely. I wasn't shy about it. I spoke to people about it, like the right people, and I was like, oh my God, like I want to be married, this is hard. And those people helped me to understand that singleness is not a curse. It's not, because I think coming from an African background and just general Christianity these days, we glorify marriage, and don't get me wrong, marriage is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful season. I've heard, and just reading the word as well, I've heard that marriage is a beautiful season, and it's something that if you definitely aspire to have that union with someone, then definitely like keep that going, and allow the Lord to develop you in your understanding of marriage. But I saw it as marriage was the ultimate like goal that was going to testify to my fulfillment. Like I felt like the day I get married would be like, she made it, like goals. And from speaking to the older people in my lives and the wiser people in my lives, it helped me to understand. And I always share with you my favorite quote, that the unmarried woman is concerned about the Lord's affair, how to please the Lord. And I did a study on that. I really took my time to study that scripture, and the part where it says the married woman's interests are divided. Like her interests are divided between her world, her husband's world, her children's world, and God. And I realized that actually my singleness is the best time to serve God. It's the best time to develop myself. Forget the God aspect of things for a second, but it's the best time to develop your confidence, to really look at yourself and know that, like, you're buff, and you have things in you, you have giftings inside of you to bring to life any ideas that you have. Because honestly, you don't really have anybody to, like, you're not building with anybody. It's just me. Like, the chat, I wake up and I'm like, yeah, I want to shoot on this. I get up, I don't need to tell my husband.
To anyone or anything.
I don't need to talk to anybody about it. I get home at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
because I got home at 1 a.m. You know?
Yeah.
And I realized that those people helped me to realize that it is the best time to really develop, to serve the Lord, to grow business ideas, to build. You know, now I work at, in a pharmacy, and I take the most odd shifts. Like, I work sometimes from 11:30 a.m. till 8:30, 9. Yesterday I got home at like 11. I'm working, I'm making money, like, and I don't have to worry about coming home to cook, or like maybe even texting my husband and saying, baby, I'm gonna be a bit late, you know. So I'm not saying that obviously marriage is this whole crazy world where you have to let somebody know your ins and outs, but start to see the blessings in singleness. And I guess if you have these ideas that singleness is boring or is lonely or whatever, then you really need to take your time to really find out what is the purpose in singleness, because that's what I did. And thankfully, thankfully I had people around me who are also single, and together we just explored, like, yeah, the beauty of singleness. I know you have something to say, Catherine. I know that face.
I agree with everything that you said, and I think at some points we spoke about things as well.
Yeah.
I think there's more than one reason for women to feel like being single is not it. I think it's not just about the flowery thing about, like, oh, I don't like being alone and all of that. No, like, the sexual desires for young women is very rampant, and it's very real. It's not just young men that have it or men that have it. It's not true. It's just not true. I feel like we have women who are growing and who are getting money and developing in all of those areas, and even with their friends they're developing emotionally and all of that. But the area that only a man can fulfill is it's real. Like, we're young women. We're not just small girls anymore. So we know we anticipate what it's going to be like. So that's one thing. And especially if we have our own work and we have our own side hustles and side hustles, to be honest, not that's the only part that a man can do, but that's a significant part that a man can do, because everything else is being covered. Yeah. And also, I think on the other side is that if you don't have those things, and for the ways that some of us have grown up, our parents haven't set us up in the best way that they could have done financially, for example. So sometimes the idea of marrying someone now that can support you a bit more in that area is very tempting, and especially when there are people there that are willing to do that for you if need be. And I mean, they're Christian and they come to church, go to your church, you see them we see them more than just 31st night. So I mean, they're a candidate, you know what I mean? Like, somewhat it's tempting it's tempting to do all that, and also with all, like, relationship goals and all of this, and we're building together. For me personally, I want to build my own first before I build anything with you. I feel like it's just something that I think it will benefit us more if I do it first. But there's loads of areas, there's loads of reasons why. So
thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you in our next episode. Take care. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. comments in the section below. We want to know what you think. We want to know, who do you agree with, who do you not agree with, what are your views. Please let us know, and let's continue to live out the beauty of the gospel together.